Hey everyone, we'll get rolling live in just a second. So hey there everyone, thank you for joining Archangel Alts, trading with you live without a net. And if your name is Annette, you can join us too, please do. Everybody's welcome here. So, crazy day in Bitcoin world, and obviously as you can see, no end in sight yet. Yes sirree, Bob. So we made it up to 5,600. Weeks ago, who would have thought that we would so quickly be coming back around to the Bitcoin that we all know and love and expect to see. Unfortunately, the volume of the market is not there to support such fantastico mundo things. So it's a give and take, and the alts are suffering as a result. Sorry, I'm waiting for some lag on my sidecar so that I can keep an eye on things that are being commented, etc., etc., etc. So, obviously, just breaking the 5,000 mark and staying there is a big deal. But oh no, we can do you one more. Yes. So you can see over here, I mean, we're just looking at the past day or so, and major stuff going on. How far do we have to go to show the 5,000 break? All right, so somewhere over here. Yep. So we're going on about 2 weeks that we have done another 600 up. These spikes have been extremely significant. These spikes in volume have been unbelievable. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. We've seen about 100 million pour in over and above what is natural movement. So lots of manipulation, lots of heavy-handed stuff going on. And not that I'm complaining, but would have been good if you warned us first. No, you know, basically, if you think in terms of if everything is a new position, then you're very happy because, you know, buy low. So everything has been shoved down low by force. We're at a good negative 35%. So there were some very beautiful, wonderful, incredible spikes back in, I guess, February into March, but mostly March. And now things are being pulled down for another wave. So if anybody was trying to find short-term positions like what we do in that intermediary time, there's going to be some waiting on some positions for sure. Hopefully it'll be a short enough recovery that nothing becomes a HODL, an unwanted HODL, that is. But in the meantime, you know, it is what it is. This is the game that is crypto. So nice progression throughout here. And then as things got steeper, it was right around the stroke of midnight. Kind of like, you know, I'm going to wash that Bitcoin Cash right out of my hair since the delisting should, I guess, be done now. No more Bitcoin Cash SV. Refuse to call it Bitcoin SV, and everybody should because it's not Bitcoin. And maybe it is Satoshi's vision, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But will the real Satoshi please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Not the guy that claims to be Satoshi and then deletes it and then claims to be Satoshi and sues people for calling him on it. Crazy people in this world. You know what I'm saying? You know, the thing is that, you know, it'd be great if everybody who was totally insane was just not very smart. because then there wouldn't be any problems. You just kind of dismiss it. But when somebody's really smart and crazy, and then it's the logical person, John McAfee is the logical guy that's going to call him out on it. It's a bit of a problem. So, yes, let's trust all of our computers of the world to be protected from the horrible attacks of other people by John McAfee. So, brilliant, crazy, smart, loony bin. Absolutely all true facts. So, you can see that some things like Ion have already started to bounce back. But where are they coming back from? You can see that the descent has been pretty massive. This drop, and this drop, all very challenging. But Ion is a pretty good example there, actually. Not the worst I've seen. So overall, it was showing its strength towards the beginning of the month. Now it's going to have to climb that hill again. Just kind of look through here, BCPT. Well, BAT has been a big deal. You can see these wonderful natural waves happening with basic attention token. And my goodness, sidecar is just completely bogged down. So let me make sure that I've got this set up on the right thing. Yes, I do. And mute is off, so that's good. So BAT's got some good room for going back up into the 8s, I believe. BCPT's got some room for, let's see how much I would trust in there. 40, 56. I could see about a 4% up and down. Yep, there we go. So just be careful. Don't get stuck above 1200 and you should be fine. And I am going to keep this a little bit on the short side because I'm not certain if this is going to end up being a safe little window for trading or not. We're going to find out as we go along. CELR, I have this feeling about it being one of the ones that I should kind of test the waters on, go in a little bit shallow here, and just kind of see as we go along. I'm kind of covering a little bit of analysis first, and then see whether this is the time that I'm going to go in for live day trading or not. We'll see. ENJ getting pulled down again. Be very careful here because there's a lot of anticipation about what it's going to do. I think this could be a good re-entry point, just not for big positions. I mean, it could get shoved down to 3100 and then sit there for a while. So if your intention is to get in and out of there as quickly as possible, then you just got to be careful. So fuel and fun both shoved down pretty low. Is kind of sad. They're going to have to do the climb again. ETC, perfect example of wish I was there right when the spike was happening. Get in there, ride it back up, boom, you're done. So just lots of things going on here. Fuel. Yeah, it's going to have some climbing to do. Fun, not very fun right now. We were up in the 120s. We got to do the whole thing again. So hopefully that can happen sooner than later. Go has been just basically cut in half. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh, you poor thing. So, even just in this part, it was a lot of work to get up there, and then it finally hit a spike. It really should be able to hang out here easily, and then, we were kind of counting on the spike again, but it's gotten shoved down by the pumpin'. The pumpin's not good for the overall market. IOST is a really, really, really important one, and its value really needs to be up in this range here. Lots and lots and lots of people watching IOST. We did a really cool analysis of it a couple weeks ago, I believe. And today, 423, I'm going to be covering IOTX, which has now gotten shoved down pretty hard too, and we really need to see it up around here. If you look at its overall, you can see that it was recovering nicely to previous high positions. Right. Well, I guess we're going to have to do the week to be able to see it. So you can see it peaked over here in those threes, and then, my goodness, there we go. Oh my gosh, the computer's just now starting to load what I was trying to load earlier. So expecting it in the threes, not really a big deal when it could easily hit the 600 range. But it's just been kind of shoved down pretty low. So in the overall scheme, this is a mirror of big, medium, small, and the next trend, if it can just have some upward momentum, it'll be really good. Key is just getting kicked lower and lower and lower. So, I don't even know how to tell you how low of an entry point to try to wait for. It was clear that it was headed up for this range again, and it's not going to happen right now. So, proceed with caution. If you see the 4 Bitcoin, 6 Bitcoin, 4 Bitcoin, larger positions start to build up more and more, but the volume is still creepily, eerily low, then I would hold off because, unless you have a lot of side circulation. Okay, 75 MFT is low, and so we're all the way down to 60. So, somewhere in there is the right entry point. Once again, you see 10, 12, 11 Bitcoin, and that's kind of supported by the extra volume. So just be careful if you are concerned about having positions get stuck for weeks and weeks. We've had very few times that we've had to worry about that. But when we do, it's annoying. You want to see everything perfect all the time. Cash was starting to recover again, and not so much. But whenever it does decide to do its thing, here's back at the Bitcoin crash, cash thing, and here's towards the end of January. It was still, in the high 50s. So our expectation is to catch it at 44 and then again at 60. All of our 50s actually cleared in between those things. So, once again, you see a lot of big positions pushed up. There's some actually expecting 46. So we'll be watching that whenever it starts to move. It's going to move fairly quickly. Once again, it's eerily low in volume. I find that disturbing. I don't like that. Poor ONT, a lot of big expectations for ONT, but OMG, ONT. So we're looking like in the 4,000 range. We don't need it anywhere up to the average, the median up here. So Phoenix has been a real champ several different times in a row, and even it is getting kicked down low, and the volume is just unbelievably low in the market today. So that's just the way it is. So I'm still trying. I don't know what happened to the memory that's slowed that down so much. Maybe the market is just kicking its positions down. Let's go with that. Quirk Chain sounds like they've got some big mainnet announcement stuff going on, but you can see it's just now starting to get out of the dip and start heading back up. So honestly, I don't know that I would go, even though there's an opportunity there. If there's a lot of shoving going on with the pump happening with Bitcoin, I just don't want to recommend anybody to get stuck in something. So that's just the way that works. Same thing with REQ. Gonna have to watch it climb almost halfway up now. So it's lost about 50% again. Again, I say. Same situation with Steam. Steam has just one of the most really amazing dedicated communities, really great people. I can't vouch for who's made it, but they definitely seem to be doing something right, because the true believer formula for Steam is as strong as I've seen in anything. And yet, here's just a perfect example of where the value of users and community is no reflection of its performance on the market. So we do want to see things like Steam succeed. And another thing that does interest me and excite me about what's happening right now, even though the market is just total junk right now. It's the positions are horrible. Unless you're doing nothing but buying and shorting Bitcoin and just waiting for really long strides to do you some good. You really want to be able to see the altcoin market thrive against the movement of the larger coins. So REQ, Red Pulse Phoenix, Raven Coin, Singles, Steam, Theta Coin, These are all things that we want to be rallying behind. Don't go making, favorites of just one or two coins when we're in a stage of talking mass adoption. Mass adoption, folks, is going to come from liquidity of some sort. And you can go and create it right now by buying and selling and trading. That's just the name of the game. That's the way that global economics work. And picking favorites and trying to push one coin into the mainstream without a market, it don't make no sense. That's fine if you're thinking in terms of mom and pop chains learning how to start accepting Bitcoin for the first time. No problem with that at all. That's great. That's fine. That's super. But, yeah. You know what I'm saying. Can't believe how slow this side computer is running right now. So, if you got any questions, ask your questions. If you're looking for advice or analysis, you let me know. As soon as the computer allows for it, I will check that stuff. Yeah, I'm watching in amazement while I try to get this thing to load so that I can see if anybody's asking anything. So, very interesting. Interesting stuff. Crazy, crazy day. It's a really big deal. What's going on with Bitcoin? Yo, yo, yo. So, looks like we're still on the rise. This could be a really big deal, but I kind of expect it to be more about self-maintenance right now than, heading for 6,000 or something. But obviously 5,500 was a major, major cross. It was a really big deal for people. And the next thing I would expect is to... I don't know if it can make it back up to the 5,600 in this run. How many millions and how well versed the pump, I don't know. The least favored words in market analysis being I don't know, but more people should use them more often because they're just so, my goodness, wrong all the time. What are you gonna do? I don't know. What are you gonna do? So Doc is still kind of interesting there. So I guess we'll look at, just going through our analysis stuff. People are going to want to know about Ethereum. It's hanging in there. It's got about 5,000 volume when things have shrunk down to 20, 30 Bitcoin on the low side, which is unbelievably low. I mean, crazy low, wacky low. Let's see, I got my signals running on the side over here too. If this computer can load them back up, it was doing fine until I said, hey, I'm going to go live. Yeah, I'll wait for the next one to come around. But Ethereum's doing okay. This was the huge Bitcoin spike. So, like several different things that got kicked down pretty bad, you could do your alternate trading between those two when these things happen. For sure. Litecoin, how we doing? Hey there, Litecoin. What you knowin'? You're the quiet type, but you keep growing. So, Litecoin came up better than it was before, and now it's having a strong surge here, while Bitcoin is a little more on the weak side. So, good for you, Litecoin. We'll see if you can make it up to higher than you were before, because you can see that this has made this climb, and now it's kind of coming back down. So all of this is okay for Litecoin. It seems to have a good knack at hanging in there. Not bad. So XRP, that's not a real coin. It's bad. See, yeah, it's having a really bad time on the market. So anything below 6,000 is pretty bad for XRP. But that's where you buy the dip. Just, I wouldn't buy it on a downward trajectory. I would watch for, hanging off the cliff, falling, and then grab it on the way back up. That's what I would look for. BTG has been having a lot of up and down, and BCD did as well. Let's take a look at BTG since it's triggering right now. So really low volume, but it's got some of that, pop going on here. So 31.15 would be 31.45. You can see it's a huge number. So yeah, that's way too much room. I wouldn't mess with that. And BTT, you got to do what you got to do. If you want to let a few hundred Bitcoins sit around for a long time, then go for it. Super fantastic. That was sarcasm. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking that I want to test a little bit of what is happening with CELR. I'm gonna do a coin analysis on IOTX later in the day today. So that should be interesting. So I always like to test and watch what the order book is saying before I just go right in with a position. So we got a 24 Bitcoin order right here. So I'm curious with the rest of our Bitcoin at 314. And BCD is now down. Remember I was mentioning those two in connection with each other? They tend to move at similar pace, even though they're very different. But it's a it's $1 instead of a penny for a lot of these, the value of the different coins. And so they move at different synchronization with each other. It's kind of interesting. Yep, that's BCD popping again. And nope, I don't think now is the time for it. And honestly, until Bitcoin decides what the next thing it's going to do, everything is kind of in shell shock right now. Just a lot of loss in volume, and Bitcoin just kind of stealing the wind. There's not enough volume to allow both sides to have the same amount of momentum. So things that tend to perform strong are extremely low, extremely weak, and even the small guys are just like, subprime, buddy. So yeah, things are falling down some more. There was a pretty good amount of momentum back here. You can see where the volume was just going crazy. It was really pulling things way down. And so, of course, there was some buoyancy for them to pop back. But now things are just kind of scaling down worse. It's not a really good time for going in. So I think that this is really more of an analysis video. I've told you my 2 cents and what to watch out for. So keep your eye on Bitcoin. It's doing really interesting things. I kind of hope that it doesn't fall below 5,500 if it can hold it there now. But start giving some of that volume back. And seriously, now is the time to be talking to everybody that you know about mass adoption and what that means for global economics. It's time to go in on crypto before the lows get lower because of a slowdown, as opposed to just the pumping of Bitcoin. So I think we're going to see some more activity. We're heading up on 3 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's either a massive slowdown or where new people come in to continue the upward journey. So we shall see what happens next. But very interesting times. So make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell so you get updates. Give us a thumbs up, comment, and come join us. You've got the link for the webinars make sure and come join our group. We are looking to build a community around you. Your voice is the thing that's missing. So come join us. Thank you for joining today. And for now, Archangel Alts out.